Well, everyone, the iPhone 16 Pro Max has been out for a little bit of time now. It's actually been about 3 months. And I wanted to kind of wrap up my thoughts on this particular brand new iPhone and kind of tell you if it's still worth buying 3 months later, some of the issues people are having, and kind of sum all those things up right now. Number one, a very big thing to keep in mind here is that the iPhone 16 Pro Max is probably the best iPhone you can buy as of this point. This is the best iPhone in terms of features, in terms of just power, in terms of battery life. It is the best iPhone you can probably buy. And because of that, you can try to, it's also the most expensive iPhone you can buy right now too. So it's not a cheap iPhone. This iPhone is costing well almost above $1,200. Even on Amazon in the used market, it still is about $1,200 right now. You can probably buy it for around $1,000, but it's a pretty expensive device. So just kind of keep that in mind. Personally, for me, the 16 Pro Max, I'll tell you the highlights, some of the big things. Number one, really, really good display. 6.9-inch LTPO Super Retina XDR OLED display. It's an amazing panel. Is it the best this year? No, we'll get into that in a second, but it still is a really good panel. The build quality is what you'd expect, still top tier. The performance is very, very good, with its newest chipset. And realistically speaking, you're not going to really run into too many problems when it comes into this device. It really is one of the best iPhones you can basically buy. However, there are some caveats that I have within this device that are some problems. Number one, I would still say the display only being 2000 nits of brightness is very weird considering this iPhone is more expensive than a lot of the competition that's going to be giving you kind of like not as good, like it's going to be a cheaper phone, but you're getting a better display. A Galaxy S22 Ultra from a couple years ago, I would argue is kind of better, but the S23 Ultra, S24 Ultra, those are almost direct competitors to this phone. Even a Google Pixel 9 Pro XL, that's a direct competitor to this phone, and those phones are giving you better displays than this thing. So that's a very interesting kind of problem to experience within this type of device. On top of that, another pitfall is that dynamic island. If you're spending all that money on this device, panel, it's really weird that you aren't really getting this really good device panel. Like it's good, it's great, but I feel like that dynamic island just takes up too much of the display, and that is another thing that just doesn't make me feel that great of owning this type of iPhone. On top of that, we're missing out on some really key features like 8K video capability that the Samsung Galaxies have had for a while, that the Pixel 9 Pros just got, but also we're missing out on other flagship features like reverse wireless charging. This is such a basic feature, and I feel like for Apple to kind of tout this, reverse wire charging aspect is very, very weird. I really do feel like Apple could be giving us more features, especially for that price tag that we're paying. And this in and of itself is one of my biggest problems here. I feel like Apple should be giving us these types of features because these are very, very important things for Apple to kind of give us, especially if we're spending all that money. Now you can spec out the iPhone 16 Pro Max only in terms of storage. And that's one thing that I think Androids have kind of gotten right, especially with Samsung. They give us the capability of basically going through, and if we want more RAM, we can spend more money. If we want this, we can spend more money. With iPhones, we still only get the capability of increasing our RAM. And if you get the most expensive iPhone, sometimes you might get like a newer camera feature here and there. With MacBooks, it's like a performance level thing. I feel like Apple should do the exact same thing with the iPhone 16 Pro Max. iOS 18 has gotten a couple improvements here and there too. iOS 18.2 has gotten a lot better. There are some new Apple Intelligence features Apple's kind of throwing in, but it still feels like Apple Intelligence still has a long ways to go. It still needs to be improved quite a bit, and I'm curious to see what Apple's going to end up doing in the future because right now, they're just kind of stuck in the situation where their phones aren't really getting that much better when they probably could be. So I would love to hear your thoughts about, you owning the iPhone 16 Pro Max for the last couple months, but in my personal opinion, I think this is one of those devices that it could probably do with another upgrade sooner rather than later. And I feel like it just doesn't hold up that well against the competition. It's the best iPhone Apple's ever made, but I still don't think it's as good as like the best Samsung, Samsung makes right now. So I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.